Okay, so in order to remove the front wheel, we first have to measure the distance of this sensor to the reluctor ring. This is the reluctor ring. So I've got my little handbook, notebook, whatever you call it, a pen, and some feeler gauges. Okay, so taking the 1mm feeler gauge. Nope, just won't do. 0.7 fits in very well. So in the manual it says that it's supposed to be in between 0.1 millimeters and 1.5 front and rear as well. Okay, so my measurement is 0.7, which is good. It's in between. So once the brake caliper is off, hang it off like this so you don't let it hang on the brake hose. It's really important. My recommendation is put in just a few threads, the bolts, so you don't lose them and you keep sight of everything that's going on. And come to think of it, I need to change the brake pads. I do think now that it's time to remove the front mud guard, because I won't be able to pull out the wheel, given the fact that I won't be able to raise the nose of the wheel quite high. So let's continue doing this. It's gonna be one screw here, and two on the other side. So it's a 5mm. And it needs new brake pads really bad. Good. So hanging this right side caliper over here. Put in the bolts. Okay, so in order to remove those pinch bolts, you have these small caps. $6mm hex key. Got myself an impact screwdriver. Hopefully this works. Okay, seems that I broke the bolt in here. Anyways, yeah, it's gonna be a bit more complicated, but hopefully somehow I will try and solve this somehow. So I managed to loosen it up with the impact screwdriver, and finally I lost all patience and I went for the vault. I did its job. I got this bolt out. Let's take this other one. I'll probably have to take off the left side shock and go somewhere and drill out that bolt, because as you can see, this is the difference between these two bolts. So we have that much of a thread still left inside. Yep. Now it wants to budge. Good. It's time now to secure the motorcycle in place and see how we can remove it. So the front wheel is out. I had one helper. He just stood aside the bike because, well, when you work in hillbilly mode and everything is a work of creativity or work of art, this is what you end up with. The front wheel is off, thank God. Then, well, as you can see in the back, we've got those jack stands. In the middle, just a little tension in the jack itself, and in the front, the axle is back in and stands on jack stands. I'm quite pleased with how things went, aside from the fact that, well, I broke this idiotic bolt. This is the information from the service manual on how to remove the front wheel bearing. So actually they tell you that you have to remove the front wheel. Models with ABS brakes remove the ABS pulsar ring. Do not allow the wheel to rest on the brake disc, as this may damage the disc. Support the wheel on wooden blocks equally spaced around the rim, such that the brake disc is raised above the ground. Okay, now lay the wheel on its side while supporting the wheel on wooden blocks to prevent the damage to the brake disc. Remove and discard the seals and the bearing circlip. Always wear eye protection, hand and face protection when using a drift. Use as use of a hammer and drift can cause bearing to fragment. Pieces of fragment bearing could cause eye and hand injuries if suitable protective apparel is not worn. To prevent wheel damage and to aid bearing removal, always apply force evenly on both sides of the bearing to prevent it from tipping and becoming stuck. Application of uneven force will lead to difficulty in removing the bearing and to a damaged wheel. The right hand wheel bearing must be removed first. The punch must be located in the cutouts provided in the center sleeve. Using a suitable pin punch through the center of the wheel, drift out the right hand wheel bearing, collect the center sleeve, remove the left hand wheel bearing in the same way. Only remove raised witness marks from within the wheel. Remove of material below and raised areas will reduce the level of interference between the wheel and bearings. Loss of interference could cause the bearing to become loose in the wheel, leading to loose motorcycle control and an accident. Examine the wheel for any raised witness marks caused by removal process. Remove any such marks with fine emery paper or a gentle file. Now the installation says that refer to the chart below for the correct tool and tool face when inserting bearings. Bearings are inserted by the means of a draw bolt acting on the insertion tool. A support tool is located on the opposite side of the wheel to the insertion tool, such as the bolt is tightened. The bearing is drawn in to the wheel. Insert bearings with the marked or shielded side facing outwards, and always fit a new bearing circlips and seals. Fit the wheel bearing and center sleeve using the method described above. Fit a new circlip, lubricate and fit new seals to the front of the wheel. We recommend mobile HP222. Install the right hand oil seal fully. Install the left hand oil seal until the wheel machined chamfer is just visible. So I made myself a tool, very long screwdriver, about 15 centimeters over here. I went to go ahead and made this part thinner, and after that, inside the bore I had access here and had access here. Once I gave it a few love taps, it all went out smoothly. The thing is that you have to hit the bearing here, here, and then in all four corners. Once the bearing which sits in the circlip area is removed, that is the first one to be removed, the center bore spacer, or whatever you want to call it, will get ejected once this bearing is out. Now we just have to give Yep, it's out.